Alright, we're here at our last page, page 5 of notes for section 1.2. We've been working with fractions this entire section. We started to involve variables on our last set of examples by using fractions and an equation that had variables, and we evaluated whether or not a number was a solution. Now we're going to involve fractions with something else we've done previously, and that is to translate to an algebraic expression or equation. Notice that before we had a separate section that was just expressions, meaning there would be no equal sign, and we had a separate section of practice problems where we would translate, where it specifically said equations, so we knew there would have to be an equal sign. Now they're lumping it all together, so we're kind of stepping it up a notch. You're looking to see if it's going to be an expression, no equal sign, or if it's going to have an equation where it tells you that one side is equal to the other side. So watch for that. We recognize words like is, gives, resulting, things like that will lead you to the conclusion that it's an equation. So we're going to translate one together, and then you can try one on your own. Keeping in mind we're just going to read, take this very calmly and breathe deep, read it again, and then start focusing in on our goal of translating by looking for keywords and information. Here's our first read. The product of 3/4 and a number, comma, increased by 9, comma, is 2 less than the number. Those commas are there. Remember, they are important. We learned in the last section it makes a difference. These commas are going to set this apart. Almost as if it were for later. In fact, it's going to be after what was just described. So we've read it once. Take a deep cleansing breath. As you read it a second time, maybe it'll be a little clearer what it's describing. The product of 3/4 and a number increased by 9 is 2 less than the number. It's amazing how even just that second time through things start to come into a little bit more focus. And practice, practice, practice makes you better at these. Okay, so just keep trying them, keep working at it. Get your hands on as many practice problems as you can in terms of translation. It will really pay off eventually for you. Okay, so let's start with some key words now here. Our goal again is to translate, change the words to either an expression or an equation. I'm just going to abbreviate there. EXP for expression, EQ for equation. What are some key words that'll help us get there? We've got the product, which means we're going to be multiplying. And the beauty of that is I see that word of, which means I can expect to find the product of something and something else. So of something and something else. There's the of and the and. Those are telling us our two things we're going to be multiplying. Looks like we're multiplying 3/4 times a number. That comma tells us we can stop right there. This completes the product. That number, they haven't given us a value, so we're going to give it a variable. We'll go ahead and call it x. Apparently I'm not feeling very creative yet this term, just continuing with the x here. Then it's increased by 9, and that is a clue that we are going to be adding 9 to it after the product. So the product, the multiplication comes first, then the adding 9 is 2 less than the number. There is that wonderful is. That is our big symbol for equals. And then we have the 2 less than the number, that tricky little thing. Less than reminds us that we're going to be subtracting, but order matters. 2 less than the number. Same number referenced as earlier, so we've got the x. But is it 2 minus x, or is it x minus 2? Now, you may be comfortable with it and know for sure what it should be at this point, but if you don't remember, come off to the side here and try some simple numbers to convince yourself. Okay, what if it had said 2 less than 6? Well, we would expect an answer of 4. We would expect that to equal 4. Well, how do you rearrange subtraction with 2 and 6 to for sure get an answer of 4. Would it be 2 minus 6, or would it be 6 minus 2? And it can't be 2 minus 6 because that equals negative 4, and we want a value of positive 4. So 6 minus 2 is what we would use. Well, and what works for numbers is going to work for algebra. So when we said 2 less than 6, the 2 came in the second spot to get it to make sense, 6 minus 2. So when we say 2 less than a number, same thing, the 2 has to go in the second spot to make it make sense, because the algebra is going to follow that same rule as the numbers. So that's why you use numbers to help it make sense for you. So it's not going to be 2 minus x, it's going to be the x minus 2. Okay, and again, you don't have to go through all this. If it's starting to pop out at you and you're getting answers consistently right and it's making sense, you don't feel like you're just guessing or stabbing in the dark, if you are confident and you're getting the right answers, then whatever you're doing is great. Show me enough to convince me that you're just not copying from the back of the book. Okay, so here we go. I know it's an equal sign here, so I know I've got an equal in this equation. And feel free to do it, kind of baby step it through. Product of 3/4 and a number increased by 9. So the product is going to be increased by 9 is 2 less than the number is x minus 2. So now I just have to fill in what that product is. The product is going to be 3/4 times the number, or just 3/4 x. So 3/4 x plus 9 is 2 less than x, x minus 2. We're not solving right now. We're not trying to come up with whether or not a certain number is a solution. We're not even combining like terms or anything like that. We're just strictly translating from the English words to an expression or an equation. In this case, an equation because of that telltale is that's in there. Okay, so 3/4 x plus 9 equals x minus 2 would be how you'd translate number 114. So talk it through, note any questions, and then when you're ready, let's have you pause the video and you can try number 108. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to try out 108. Pause the video if you haven't yet, because here comes the translation. When you translate this, and this is also an equation, x minus 1/3 is equal to 1/2 times x. Okay, again, we don't have to simplify, try to move things around, combine, LCD, none of that. Just the translation at this point. Okay, we'll see you at the bottom of the page.